I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, February the 21st, brought to you in part by Toromox by Norbrook. Run parasites out of town with Toromox. You can expect the same advantages as you get with Cydectin with Toromox, but at a lower cost. Plus it's dung beetle friendly, which we found out is very important on scattering out your manure and helping your grass pastures, guys. For more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Market in south central Iowa, both on DV Auction. Now, this past Tuesday, Unionville was forced to postpone their special feeder cattle auction due to frigid temperatures there, but they are going to be holding it this Tuesday, the 25th, and expecting over 1,700 head of top quality feeders there. Now, Creston, they claim if you get north of the Iowa border that they get a little tougher up there. I'm not sure about that, but they were able to hold their special all-vaccinated calf and yearling sale on Wednesday, and they also had some pretty impressive replacement heifers on that sale too. Some of the top prices that we saw anywhere in the nation for that big special that they held on Wednesday in Creston. They will be having a special bred cow and bred heifer sale coming up this February the 28th, which will be on a Friday. So be sure and mark your calendars for that if you're looking for some really impressive top quality replacements. No supply, no problem. Apparently, we're really tight on the number of cattle that we have, and we've talked several times about how this latest rally that gave us all-time record high prices that we've just receded from a little bit, that was really driven by demand. Even though our supplies are the tightest we've seen in 73 years, we're extremely tight, and we've got a population in this country that's over twice as much as it was back in around 1950 there. But our slaughter has been slashed here lately. Supposedly these packers are losing over $100 a head, and excuse me while I shed a tear about that, because when our cattle feeders are losing money, $100 a head is nothing. It's more like $400 a head whenever it gets tough on them. But packers don't like losing money. They want to be on the top side all the time, and they've been struggling to get their dressed beef prices up, and I don't understand why they keep selling them. It's not like it's a negotiated trade. They basically put a menu out there for their wholesalers, and they buy as much of it as they want. Well, if they're losing money on it, it's not like they don't have room to store that in the coolers. Don't sell it. Get those box beef cutout values up higher. But they have slashed slaughter. We're going to have an extremely disappointing slaughter here this week. I mean, like as low as we've ever seen it, not being in holiday week. But they're trying to get things propped up a little bit. But our supplies are not getting any better. They're getting smaller and smaller all the time. Even though we've seen a little bit of correction in our market here the last 3 weeks or so, we have started to see big intensity on heifer retention, especially in the last 3 weeks with the market coming down. People are keeping more heifers back, and more of these top quality feeder heifers are being sold for replacement heifers. So that is just going to amplify the tight supplies that we see going forward. There's going to be fewer heifers on feed, fewer of them available for slaughter, and then we've got these other things that have just kind of come on the plate that's going to make our supplies even tighter. How about the death loss through this latest cold snap? Now, we've seen dangerously cold temperatures, 20, 30, 40 below regular air temperature up in the northern plains, and there's bound to have been some pretty significant death loss. I haven't heard anything about it, but in your feedlots, I mean, that's bound to have happened. Cattle that are turned out, but especially baby calves. A lot of producers are calving, or were trying to calve, struggling to calve during this bitter cold snap, and there is bound to have been some significant loss of baby calves. Well, that's just going to make the supplies even tighter going forward. How about the flooding that we've seen back east? That's had to have cost a lot of lives of cattle there. And then our movement of Mexican cattle north of the border to fill those Texas backgrounding lots, graze out wheat, any early grass. That has been extremely slow and doesn't look like it's going to pick up too much here going forward. But also now we've seen the price of dairy products increase, and so we've seen an increase or a decrease in the number of dairy cows that are being culled for slaughter. So that all those things are just going to make it even tougher. And our fed cattle slaughter has not really been down all that much, even though our slaughter has been backed off here for the last several months. It's mostly been due to cows and bulls. And we've pretty much just run out of slaughter cows and bulls. The market has come back up again. We saw it come up really big this past summer, and then we saw the shuttering of a major plant in the southeast, a cow plant, and that took your prices down a little bit. They've come back and almost rivaling the prices, the high prices that we saw back in the summer, because we just don't have any of them. And now the dairies are not culling as deep on their dairy cows, so that's going to get even more amplified. So just continued lighter supplies, and that is bound to prop this market back up, or at least hold these losses at bay here for a while. I want to tell you about a production sale that's coming up that's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's Buck Ridge Cattle Company in Seymour, Missouri. It's my friends Mark and Logan Hayden there. They have really been working hard on this seed stock herd that they have here for the last 20 years. And they wanted me to remind you that for their sale coming up on Monday, March the 3rd at 2 o'clock Central, it's going to be on DVAuction if you can't make it to Seymour, Missouri. They are offering free delivery nationwide. They will deliver those to a regional hub. They'll get them as close to your doorstep as you can do that for free if you buy bulls or replacements there on their production sale. And for those producers of you that are looking to add some more frame to your herd, they are offering Limb Flex bulls. That'll give you some continental breeding there that will give you some more frame to hang those big carcasses on. And also the Angus bulls that they offer, they do have some of the biggest carcasses within the breed there. So go to DVAuction.com, go down to March the 3rd, look up Buck Ridge Cattle Company, look at the videos on those cattle, and prepare to buy on that production sale coming up Monday, March the 3rd at 2 o'clock Central. And I will be on hand if you want to come out to that sale, shake hands, and visit for a little bit for that production sale. Also, here at the Feeder Flash, you know that we celebrate auction markets. We are all about negotiated trade, competitive bidding, sale barns. Your local sale barns are the pillars of the community. If somebody's in a jam and needs some help, who do you go to first? But your local sale barns. They'll have a rollover sale or whatever, and help raise money for those that are in need. And we love to celebrate the sale barns. And each month we call out one of the sale barns that's been doing the best job for their customers. We call it the Market of the Month. We've got a new sponsor there for Market of the Month. It's Buy Meta, no suits, just boots with Buy Meta. And the Market of the Month for this month is Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. I talk about them all the time. They do such a good job right there in no man's land, Oklahoma Panhandle. Nobody wanted to claim that spot on the globe, but Oklahoma finally did. But Jeff and Jerry Slatton own that market. It's a family operation. Their son Sid is there helping them, and some kids that they kind of take in. They're helping there also. They've got Josh Nine, who is an integral part of Beaver County Stockyards. We've had some fundraisers for him as he is a young man that is fighting cancer there, and he's putting up a big fight there, and we are rooting him on to beat this. One reason, because we need him at Beaver County Stockyards. He does a really good job there. Lane Conkle does a good job there also, but tell you what, they have really grown by leaps and bounds The Slattons have only owned that market for 10 or 11 years, and whenever they took over, that market was running about 20,000 head of cattle in a year's time. This past year, they sold over 200,000 head. To put that into perspective, there's not a sale barn market in the state of Texas that sells 100,000, and just 15 miles north of the Texas Panhandle border, they sell over 200,000. So that's what kind of job they're doing there at Beaver County Stockyards, and congratulations to them for being the market of the month. Let's talk about your board for Thursday. February live cattle futures were down 20 cents at 197.62. April was down 97 cents at 193.80. Your back months were down 55 to down 95. Now, our futures have been down here for the last 3 weeks plus here, losing $10 to $12 with live cattle and feeder cattle there. But we did see some decent footing here this week. Thursday was the biggest down day on your futures, and your feeder cattle are falling well behind what your cash index levels are. March feeder cattle were down $2.20 on Thursday at 266.82, and your latest CME cash feeder cattle index is about 278.5. I told you they were going to jack with that feeder cattle spot market because we're in a bastard month. But we'll be in March here before too long, and that thing's going to have to take heed a little bit. April feeder cattle down 222 at 266.37, and then your back months were mixed but mostly lower on Thursday, from down 197 to up 7 cents on your back months of feeder cattle. Look at your grains. March corn was up a half cent a bushel at 4.98. Soybeans up 13 3/4 at 10.45.5. Hard red winter wheat for March down 6 1/4 cent at 6.07.5. Your fat cattle trade, we did start to see some trade even in the northern plains on Thursday, and it was not encouraging. It didn't get any better. They'd already had sold enough cattle there to establish that market lower, and we're going to be losing $3 to $4 on your cash fat cattle market this past week. Iowa sold 2,100 head on Thursday before 2 o'clock, likely sold more after 2 o'clock, but 2,800 head for the week up through 2 o'clock on Thursday. Live price in Iowa from $1.98 to $2. Dress price $5 to $6 lower at $3.15. Nebraska sold 2,900 on Thursday, confirmed only 3,200 for the week, and your live price at $2 only, and $3.15 also, which was $5 to $6 lower, just like your Iowa. Kansas sold 1,800 on Thursday. That was the first sales of the week at $1.99. That was $3 to $4 lower on live cash FOB basis there in Kansas. Texas did not have any confirmed sales for the week yet, up through Thursday at 2 o'clock. Box beef cutout values were lower again. Why they keep selling them lower, I don't know. Choice cuts down 126 at 312.63. Selects down 58 cents at 303.18. Your slaughter for the week through first 4 days of the week, 447,000 estimated cattle slaughter. That is dismal. That is really slow. That is 7,000 less than the previous week at this point in time, and 23,000 less than the same week a year ago. Your actual slaughter information come back for the week ending February the 8th had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 951 pounds, which was 1 pound less than the previous report. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services, they are your LRP specialists there. It's Dakota Moss in Oklahoma City and all these agents that work closely with him. They can help you anywhere. I often see on social media many times people are saying, who do you recommend for an LRP, or who I can talk to about an LRP? They can help you anywhere that you're at. Dakota has told me he has gotten licensed anywhere that you run cattle. I mean, west to east, top to bottom. They can help you wherever you're at. Just call them up. It doesn't cost anything to call them and visit about what it's going to cost, where your protection level's at, and what have you. Check them out at livestockriskservices.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your cattle on feed report is going to come out here on Friday. And we talked about it a couple visits ago, but I wanted to remind you what the average of the analyst guesses are so you can be thinking about those when it comes out at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon Central. Your February 1st inventories are estimated to be 99.3% of a year ago, which is lighter but still pretty heavy. Placements in January at 103. Now, we did move a lot of cattle in January because we felt like the market was top heavy. Guys wanted to get in on that and not let it slip away from them. So I can't really argue with heavy placements during January. Marketings in January are pegged at 102.2% of a year ago. Let's talk about your real-time index, which is brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index based on an 800-pound cash auction steer late on Thursday after your sales had all closed, sitting at 281.79. That was up another 74 cents. We didn't have a lot of sales this past week. We had light receipts because so many of them were closed due to the frigid temperatures, but the sales that did have them were some of our more premium type sales, and it propped up your index levels on your CME too. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 278.51. Talk about some sales coming up here. Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nevada is expecting around 2,000 head for their monthly feeder cattle special here today on Friday. That's on DVAuction.com. Going to be starting at 9 a.m. Pacific. That's a little bit later out here in the central part of the country, but they'll be on the big bunches before noon. Another sale that I talked about a few visits ago, but I want to get straightened out, is Bottomley Cattle Company. That's way out east, guys. It's the heart of the herd cow sale. It's a production sale. It's going to be on DV Auction this Saturday, February the 22nd, starting at noon Eastern, and it is not going to be in North Carolina. It's in Wytheville, Virginia. So a lot of my friends around the Virginia area that I met when I was out in Pennsylvania and have continued to meet through my relationships with the Virginia Cattlemen's Association. Be thinking about that special cow sale. It's going to be in Wytheville Saturday at noon, but it's going to be on DVAuction.com, guys. Check it out. Let's talk about your big sales on Thursday. Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. They had the biggest sale of the week, 5,200 head for the Hereford Influence special there, and it has been a big sale in past years. It was a big sale this past week despite the cold temperatures. Feeder steers sold $3 to $9 higher. They had a big run of 5,200 head. A lot of buyers there and a lot of them online. Feeder heifers had a lower undertone, but so many of them sold for replacement. That's what caused your feeder heifers to kind of have a weakness there to them. But they were your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day for Thursday. Check out this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and you see your best tested weights there. And you see there was a big offering there. 346 head of 5-weight steers in Mitchell, South Dakota. They averaged 557 at 350.67 for a weighted average price. 917 head of 6-weight steers averaged 663 at 315.85. There were 752 head of 7-weight steers. They averaged 754 at 294.51. And 645 head of 8-weight steers averaged 835 at 279.11. There was a couple groups of well-tested heifers there. 691 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 649 at $300.97. There were 578 head of 7-weight heifers. They averaged 744 at 283.41. Some individual quotes from all around. How about Orland Livestock Commission Yard in Orland, California? They sell 59 steers, weigh 532 for $355, way out west. How about Lamoni Livestock in Lamoni, Iowa? They sell 2 loads of steers, weighed 788 at $285. Pretty impressive there. How about Sisseton Livestock Auction in Sisseton, South Dakota? 61 steers weighed 896 at 279.75. Indeed, come out of Mitchell Livestock Marketing, it was 51 steers weighed 809 at 289. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.